All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go ahead and get this council meeting starting tonight. This is the City Council regular meeting for October the 21st. We'll call this meeting to order, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Brian Mock.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy First.
Here.
Councilmember Judd Mesa.
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Robson.
Here.
Councilmember Paul Stovall.
Here.
Councilmember Elmer Vythe.
Present.
Very good. We'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance. Who do we want to pick on tonight?
Ronnie Mayer.
Ronnie Mayer, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all thought I forgot it, didn't you?
We saw that wound on the side of your head. We wondered.
All right, next up is approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to bring a motion to amend the agenda and add an item titled Smoke and Vape Shop Ordinance to the second read section of the agenda.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second to add an item to the second read for smoke and vape. Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor? And that is unanimous. And then I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda with the said motion included.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, that takes us down to announcements and presentations. This evening we have our Council Dog Lifeline Animal Showcase, and I believe we have Bingo with us tonight. Come on up, Bingo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much
Hello.
for having us, as always. Yes, we have Bingo here. He's a little over 2 years old, and he is dressed up for the holidays. His Halloween costume today is a little spider, and he has been with us since May. So we are hoping that maybe someone here in the audience or someone watching or someone that maybe you know is the perfect match for him. He is so easygoing, loves other dogs, is great with kids, is just a happy boy. Obviously, loves his snacks as well. Currently at our DeKalb location, we have 486 dogs that are also waiting for homes along with Bingo. So with that many dogs, we're bound to find a perfect match for all of you. And the best part is about this month, our promotion is if you come dressed in a costume or make a donation, you have a adoption fee that is waived. So it's the perfect time. Get the family together, dressed up, and come visit us. Come meet some of our dogs or cats that we have that are just looking for a chance to have a new start in life. And so many of them are just ready to give all the love that they can. And we're also here to talk about our housing project that we still have underway. We are so excited to announce that this is still a work in progress. It is going along smoothly. We're hoping to have that by the end of the quarter. And that will, it won't increase our capacity, but it will help us house dogs a lot easier and a lot more comfortably. And that's what's important, is the dogs that we do have in our care are comfortable. So we're looking forward to that as well. But yes, this is Bingo, and we are just so excited to get to show him to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to come talk to us. And we're just down the road, so feel free after this too, come stop by the shelter.
We will be we'll be glad to get that addition finished and give them some more space over there to have a little bit more privacy and time to themselves. And I can attest that Bingo is a sweet fellow. I got his slobber all over me. So please, somebody go over and adopt Bingo or one of the other fine family members at the DeKalb Animal Services, which is just up the street here in Chamblee. Right. Anybody else have anything? Good. All right. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Bingo. Good luck. All right. We have a public hearing for a text amendment this evening. I'll read the rules of order for public hearing zoning matters. The hearing shall be presided over by the mayor. After calling the hearing to order, the mayor shall request the parcels of property which are subject to the zoning proposal be identified and read. Following such identification and reading, the development director's recommendation shall be presented. The mayor and council shall cause the director's written recommendation to be made part of the record. Proponents of each proposed zoning decision shall then be allowed a total of 10 minutes for presentation of data, evidence, and opinion concerning the zoning decision. If all 10 minutes are not used, the proponent's remaining time may be reserved for rebuttal. Opponents of each proposed zoning decision shall then be allowed a total of 10 minutes for presentation of data, evidence, and opinion concerning each zoning decision. Presentation times may not be reduced but may be expanded by majority vote, provided they are expanded equally for proponents and opponents. Anyone wishing to speak shall come to the microphone, give your name and address to the city clerk, and please do not speak unless you have the microphone and have been recognized. And with that, we'll move into the public hearing for the text amendment to the UDO, and this is smoke and vape shops.
Thank you, Mayor. As you recall, this has been in front of you a couple of times. This is actually fulfilling the requirement to actually do the public hearing for the text amendment to the UDO. This is an amendment to the UDO in Title I, which is administration, and Title II, which is land use and zoning, related to the definition of smoke shops and including the definition of vape shop in the previously existing smoke shop ordinance. Additionally, the amendment to the UDO includes clarification on the definition of tobacco paraphernalia, tobacco products, vape products, and then has some additional definitions for, additional restrictions for tobacco and vape shops, including distance requirements, 1,000 feet. They should not be located within 1,000 feet of any child care, learning center, public or private school, offering general education courses, city or county recreation center, park, nature preserve, or garden, MARTA, station, hospital, public library, and distances shall be measured as provided within section 240-12. Further, drive-throughs or drive-up services are no longer permissible, and hours of operation are limited to from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then additionally, within that, there is a measure that prevents them from selling THC oil within certain, it allows them to sell THC oil, but within state law. So it defines all of that within the section of the code. And the purpose of this, again, is just to do the public hearing before it is later read by the city attorney for second read.
All right, anyone here wishing to speak in favor of this item? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? All right, seeing none, we'll move on down. It takes us to approval of the minutes.
Excuse me. Motion to approve the minutes for all three meetings, the City Council Public Hearing Work Session, September 11th, City Council Regular Meeting, September 16th, City Council Regular Meeting, Executive Session, September 16th, as submitted.
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a motion and a second to approve all three sets of minutes, September the 11th, September 16th, and the September 16th executive session. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. All righty, under second read this evening, first up, Madam City Attorney, we have our transient pet sales ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to read headings only.
Second.
Thank you. By consent, headings only?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Chamblee, Georgia, Chapter 14, Animals, Article 2, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions, Section 1432, Reserved, to add new provisions related to the sale of dogs, cats, and domestic rabbits in certain public locations and for all other purposes. This removes the reserved provision under Section 14-32 and replaces it with a new prohibition on the sale of dogs, cats, and domestic rabbits in certain public locations. The new section makes it unlawful for any person to engage in the transfer of any dog, cat, or domestic rabbit at any roadside, public right-of-way, and certain other public areas. It does not apply to there are certain exceptions that are provided for in the code under subsection C. Under subsection D, a police department or code enforcement is authorized to enforce the provisions, and subsection E provides for penalties for violations of the code. That is it.
Thank you, ma'am. That is a second read, so we'll need to take action on that.
Motion to adopt the transient pet sales ordinance as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the transient pet sales ordinance as presented. Any further discussion? I heard her first. It could be just because she's next to me. It's all,
should
it's all
fight.
about proximity, yeah. And that takes us down to,
We did not vote yet,
Oh,
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we got to do it.
I thought we did that. All right. No further discussion, so all in favor? All right, that's taken care of. And then we're down to smoke and vape shop.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Chamblee, Georgia, Appendix A, Unified Development Ordinance, Title I, Administration, and Title II, Land Use and Zoning, by adding text related to standards for tobacco vape products, shops, and for all other purposes. Section 1, under definitions, adds a new definition for tobacco paraphernalia and a new definition of tobacco products. Section 2, related to also definitions, edits the term and definition of tobacco product shop to amend the name to be tobacco/vape product shop, and adds or amends the requirement or that it derives more than 50% of its gross revenue from the sale of various products listed in the section. Section 3 is the table of permitted uses, and it is edited to amend the name of the tobacco product shop to include tobacco/vape product shop. Section 4 related to measurements, specifically Section 240-12 under Section 4 amends the term tobacco product shop to include tobacco/vape products shop to be consistent with the previous definitions section. Section 5, supplemental use provision, is amended by editing text to include the word vape, tobacco/vape in subsections A and B. Subsection C states that no tobacco vape products will be located within 1,000 feet of certain facilities, including but not limited to childcare, learning centers, public or private schools, and various other facilities. And the distances shall be measured as provided in section 240-12. Drive-through or drive-up service is not permitted, and subsection E limits the hours of operation between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m.
Thank you, ma'am. And that is a second read that will require action.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the smoke vape shop ordinance as presented by City Attorney.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt the smoke and vape shop ordinance as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, under new business this evening, we have the Net Proceeds Committee appointment.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brian Mock to the mayor to the Net Proceeds Committee pursuant to Section 4.06B of the intergovernmental contract between Downtown Development Authority of the City of Chamblee and the City of Chamblee, Georgia, dated August 1st, 2018.
Second.
All right, this is a motion and a second to appoint the mayor to the Net Proceeds Committee pursuant to Section 4.06, which is dated August the 1st, 2018. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right. Under staff action items this evening, we have the 2026 benefits renewal.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026 annual benefits program with United Healthcare and the plan change as recommended by staff.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the 2026 Annual Benefits Program with United Healthcare as recommended by staff. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a few comments if I can, that we didn't make this decision lightly. This was something that we saw an increase in cost of $1 million if we continued with our previous plan. We're expecting and we're experiencing severe economic headwinds right now that are really going to affect our budget going forward. So I want to thank the HR team, Jennifer, and for negotiating this down to something that's only it's $250,000 increase, if I remember correctly, as opposed to $750,000. When you look at a delta of $750,000, it becomes almost a binary choice. We have a fiduciary responsibility to the people in this building, to our citizens out there, and we have to make this decision based on that. I do want to also note that this package is in line with the benefit-rich package that we had previously. And again, I want to thank Jennifer and her team for negotiating on behalf of the city and our staff to make this come to fruition today.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Takes us down to the amendment to the city financial policies.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amendment to the city's financial policies as presented by staff.
Have a motion and a second to approve the amendment to the city's financial policies as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. The Q3 2025 budget amendment.
Motion to approve the Q3, Q3 2025 budget amendment as presented by staff.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the Q3 2025 budget amendment as presented. Any further discussion on that item? All in favor? And that is unanimous. We have the Dresden Trail Grant application.
Motion to approve the Dresden Trail Grant application as presented by staff.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the Dresden Trail Grant application as presented by staff. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. We have the South Chamblee Woodacres Park Task Order.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to sign the task order with Kimley Horn for a cost not to exceed $77,000.
Second.
This is a motion and a second to authorize the city manager to sign the task order as presented by staff. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. The renewal of the speed detection permit.
I think you missed one. Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry about that. Got North
Okay.
Metro,
Just making sure.
North Metro SWAT MOU update.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize you to sign the updated MOU for the North Metro SWAT as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign the updated MOU for the North Metro SWAT as presented. Any further discussion on that item? All in favor? That is unanimous. Now the renewal of the speed detection permit.
Motion to authorize the city to end its contract with Red Speed for school zone enforcement cameras at St. Pius, effective November 30th, 2025.
This is a motion and a second to authorize the city to end its contract with Red Speed for school zone enforcement cameras at St. Pius, effective November 30th, 2025. Any further discussion on that item? All in favor? That is unanimous. On-call services, stormwater services contract.
Motion to authorize the mayor to execute an on-call services agreement with ISE for miscellaneous stormwater engineering and consulting services.
Second.
So motion and a second to authorize the mayor to execute on-call services agreement with ISE for stormwater engineering consulting. Any further discussion on that item? All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, that takes us down to PZ 2025-1535.
You
You
missed one.
missed another one, Brian.
This one.
You're slacking.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. I don't think my two things are coinciding here, so All right, so stormwater detention pond assessment.
Motion to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with ISE for proposed services at a cost not to exceed $24,910.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with ISC for proposed services at a cost not to exceed $24,910. Any further discussion on that item? All in favor? That is unanimous. I'm going to skip over and start reading off of this one.
Yes.
See if I can stay in here. All right, now we have PZ 2025-1535, that is New Peachtree Road and VJ Drive.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve variances 1 through 5 and waivers 1 and 2 with the following conditions. The development shall be constructed in substantial conformity with the site plan elevations dated and received by the Planning and Development Department August 14th, 2025, with revisions required by the conditions of the approval and review and approved by the Planning and Development Director. Condition number 2, the applicant shall include their land disturbance permit submittal with FEMA letter of map revision for the floodplain on the site to be reviewed by the city engineer and Public Works. Condition number 3, the applicant shall incorporate a design and maintenance solution along the western property line of the development that is near the existing retaining wall to reduce buildup of trash and debris. Condition number 4, the townhouses shall be metered, platted, and titled individually to allow for individual ownership. Number 5, units with front loading garage shall be allowed to have a front porch less than 8 feet wide and 6 feet deep. The applicant will work with staff to meet the requirements whenever possible and conforms with the previous project approval at the same address. That's it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve with conditions as stated by Councilmember Mesa. Any further discussion on that item?
Yeah, the porches was for the front loading one only?
Yes,
Not
and
the- okay.
unless I misread, that's included in my motion.
Got it, okay.
I don't know, let me look at it, make sure.
Yeah, I was thinking it was front
Yeah,
loading only.
5, condition 5, units with front loading garages shall be allowed to have a front porch that is less than 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep, and the applicant shall work with staff to meet the requirements whenever possible and confirms with the previous project approved at the same address.
Okay, so the ones that aren't that way then would have to have the right size porch.
That's
I'm
correct.
just clarifying.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? And that is unanimous. PZ 2025-1538, this is Ashton Woods Drive, this is Pruitt Healthcare.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to defer this item to the November meeting cycle.
Second.
All right, this is a motion and a second to defer this item to the November meeting cycle. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor? That is unanimous. PZ 2025-1552, this is Century Parkway, this is South College.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to deny the applicant's variance request.
Second.
It's a motion and a second to deny. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor? That is unanimous. That takes us to the last item here, which is PZ 2025-1547, and this is Pierce Drive.
Motion to defer this item to the November work session and council meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to defer this item to the November council cycle. Any further discussion on this item?
I just want to make sure that we want to defer this, because this applicant said that they want to do a fence now. So if we defer it, we're just going to have to do the same thing again. We're going to have to take action next month, correct? So wouldn't it make more sense to withdraw this without prejudice?
I don't know Well, Kristen,
I think-
can we withdraw without prejudice? They have to withdraw without prejudice.
They have to request a withdrawal without prejudice. So
So-
you have to take action on what's in front of you this evening.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
And further discussion, do we want to defer to November or to December?
That's right, yeah.
I think the applicant has a number of issues and is going to need more than 30 days to
Okay,
come up with a workable plan.
Then I'll change my motion to the December meetings.
And who had the second?
Seconds, whoever had, did I have the second?
All
I
right,
will accept your amendment.
all right. So we have an amended motion and a second to move this item to the December work session. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, that takes us down to public comments. Mayor is the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the city council as a body, not to individual members. Anyone wishing to speak shall come to their microphone. Give your name and address to the city clerk. Limit remarks to 3 minutes unless further time is granted by council. Not speak a second time until everyone wishing to speak has spoken once and no one can speak more than twice. And with that, I will open it up to public comments. Anyone here wishing to address council this evening? Come on up. Come on up.
Good evening. Can y'all hear me okay?
Good evening.
All right. My name is Philip Catalano. I'm here to talk about staff action item 2J. First off, as a point of order, what I heard was a motion to add the conditions that Councilmember John Mesa added to the variance list, but I didn't hear a vote on approval of the permit. And as a result, I'd like to move to add some additional conditions, and those are as follows. The permit itself on page 6 says it's got at least 282 cars that it's adding to a single ingress and egress drive along New Peachtree Road. For anybody that got here when I did, the traffic is absolutely abysmal getting here, getting around New Peachtree, and I would ask for a traffic study. The last traffic study that was done in relation to this particular permit was in 2022, and I would ask for an independent traffic study before any permit is issued, because these are residential areas, and because I live right next to this area where it's going in. Quite simply, another conservatively 282 cars, plus retail, plus the delivery, et cetera. We're looking at 400 to 500 cars a day going through a single line of traffic where it is already congested. And for that reason, I'm asking for an independent traffic study that is transparent, that we have a chance to comment on prior to issuing the permit. I'm also asking for developers be required to fund infrastructure improvements as a condition of approval. This includes traffic signals, widening of roads as necessary, improving pedestrian safety with crosswalks and sidewalks, contributing to school and emergency service upgrades. What we're asking for, and I think it was a great amendment, Mr. Mesa, asking for these townhomes to be individually owned is great, but there's nothing in the permit that stops somebody from coming and buying 5 or 10 units and making them into rental properties. In 2024, a study from the Alliance for Safety and Justice found that if it's not an owner-occupied home, the people are 3 times more likely to be victims of serious violent crimes, including aggravated assault, robbery, and sexual assault. Quite simply, you guys have done a great job, and Chamblee is known for listening to the community, upholding the principles of the 2024 Comprehensive Plan, and taking the slow but correct path for development. I'd just ask you to continue to do that, and continue to do that with item number 2J. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Every time I hear mayor, I like looking to see if it's me or you they're talking to, and council. Well, y'all were already approving stuff on this piece of property over there, and hadn't had the public comment yet. And I think public comment should have been first before you start approving stuff. But I want to see a traffic study when they were going to build apartments down there where USG used to be. We came in droves and fought that. I want to go to the DOT and the federal John Osloff Hank Johnson, let's get some of the federal dollars in, and let's open up 8th Street to be an underpass again, because all these cars, they're coming down the Caldwell to Reading, and our school kids in the buses, if y'all hadn't seen it, Peachtree northbound was backed up all the way to the funeral home from Reading because some bright engineer out of my city of Brookhaven decided to put a four-way stop at Reading and Caldwell. So there'll be emails going out tonight because people have been sitting in traffic for a half hour, but we must go to the GDOT and the federal, and let's reopen up doing the underpass at 8th Street. While we're talking about 8th Street, I mentioned you about a week ago about the tractor trailers that were parking right there on Peachtree at the gas station. While we were coming up here, one of the blue tractor trailers was pulling in there. And I just don't think you want to come into your beautiful city and see 3 tractor trailers just parked out there for parking. But with this infrastructure thing, I just bought 2 properties off over there behind Hennessy Ford, and there's 2 new houses, and the 2 young couples have no water pressure at all. And so, I mean, there's a lot of apartments. I'm glad to hear they're townhomes, but like my neighbor Philip said, that there's got to be something that can stop a big group who builds them and say, well, our other division just went and wrote a check and we just bought all of them. There's ways around to do the rental units. And somewhere in there, I like to do at least 10 units for workforce housing for the firemen around the neighborhoods and the Chamblee officers to do it affordability. But traffic right now over there is terrible, and we need to do some traffic studies before you give any permit out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ronnie. Anyone else wishing to address council this evening? Yeah. Come on up.
Hi there, I'm Eddie Eulert. I've had a business thriving here in Chamblee for 40 years, and I wanted to just quickly address a couple of things on PZ 2025. I realize that there is a great interest in providing as much additional housing as possible. I'm not sure if you're aware that in the approval for this development, you're extinguishing 7 businesses and a church. And 4 of those are auto service businesses, which this city has been increasingly hostile over the last several years in permitting for new locations for auto service businesses. And aside from my personal interest in making a living, all of these people, despite the efforts over the years to turn everything into a highly walkable situation, all of these people are going to be driving cars. And by removing 7 options for auto service from the city, these people are going to have to get their cars fixed somewhere. And I'm assuming that would be in a different municipality, which adds a bit of an aggravation to the new residents. I would like to hope that the variances you have just approved will be the end, but I know in these sort of development situations, it's just the beginning, that every variance will lead to another one. Every request will provide some sort of reason that the project cannot proceed without the variance, or everyone will lose money. And on the tail end of that notion, I would hope that there would be some method to enforce the already alluded to notion of individual ownership, because when the current economic situation fizzles, as it's inevitably going to do, this will turn into a giant build to rent property that will become a nightmare for the city to maintain. And with the last development that was built on New Peachtree, there's the same situation here. In the event of any sort of rail catastrophe, there's one way out, and that's New Peachtree Road, where the railroad occurs. I realize there's no way to stop this from happening, but I just wanted to give you some input of a different opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Good to see you. Anyone else wishing to address council this evening? Anybody? All right, just for clarification, so that everyone knows, and I know most people don't do this very often, but we do have work session on the Thursday prior to the Tuesday council meeting, and we do open it up for public discussion and public comment prior to actually taking action on that item. So although council has already acted on this item tonight, I'm sure we'll still take your comments into consideration going forward, but in the future, if you can make it that Thursday prior, that's the time that we really open it up for public comment prior to making the decision. All right, sir. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss real estate, potential litigation, and personnel matters.
Second.
Motion to enter into an executive session for all three items. All in favor? And that is unanimous. So we'll need to slide out and we'll be back.
Sharon.
I will. Have a good rest of your week.
Excuse me, one of y'all the builder or developer of this piece of property on New Peachtree? Nothing? Okay. Just one. Yes, sir. Just ask. That was one of the crew. That's right. Well, he's city staff.
How would you describe? He's a fan of city
Mr. Mesa, could you please come to the dais? Mr. Mesa, please come to the dais. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to exit executive session.
Second?
A motion and a second to exit executive session. All in favor? That is unanimous.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add an employee agreement.
Second.
A motion and a second. I don't,
Remember,
Yes,
it's
it was
not the
Leslie.
first, it's the loudest.
motion and a second to amend the agenda to add an employment agreement. Any discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous.
Mr. Mayor, a motion to approve an employee agreement and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement as presented.
A motion and a second to approve the employment agreement and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. Anybody want to leave?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? All right.
Picture time.
Picture time first, Ronnie.
Councilman Mesa, can you sign?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I just appreciate all of you, your leadership. It's so necessary, it helps to create the ripple effect. Mayor to be in the photo. What's the best way to set it?
I got it. You're just gonna stand right here. Y'all stay in the middle, and then they'll be around you guys. Mayor, you wanna come down? Mayor, right here in the middle for me. Okay, now everyone kind of shift just a little bit this way, a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit.